Okay, so atmospheric pressure. Very, very similar to the last lesson where you proved that P equals rho GH. So if you imagine that you've got an atmosphere, well, the higher up you go in the atmosphere, the less height you've got of air, of atmosphere above you. So let's draw that like this. So here's the person, here's the atmosphere. So you are at the bottom of the atmosphere, okay? You have got the maximum height of atmosphere above you. Just like the example with the canister, where you had the height of water above you. In this example, you've got the maximum, when you're on the ground, you've got the maximum amount of atmosphere above you, so you have got the most pressure from the atmosphere. And that pressure at sea level, so when so P at H max, which is sea level, is approximately 100,000 pascals, and we write that as 100 kilopascals. So that's the pressure of the atmosphere pressure on you all the time. You don't notice it, even though that translates to 100,000 newtons per meter squared. You don't notice it because you have it all around you all the time. In fact, you would notice it more if it wasn't there in the vacuum of space when your skin starts to boil. Okay, so you're better off with it than without it, even though it's weighing down on you all the time. So having the weight of the world on your shoulders, maybe not, but having the weight of the atmosphere on your shoulders, definitely do. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means that as you go further up into the atmosphere, then the pressure gets less, because this height of atmosphere that you have above you is less. So even though you are at a greater height, the height of atmosphere above you is less. So if we look at a bird here, is it a bird or is it a plane? It's some sort of funny squiggle. And then we know that that has only got that much atmosphere above it there. So that H is much smaller than this H. So the pressure is going to be much smaller. So we can then draw that as a graph. The graph's going to look like this, where this is altitude in kilometers, how high up you are basically. And it starts at 0, and this is going to be your pressure in kilopascals. And I've already told you what this number here is going to be. That number there is going to be 100 kilopascals. Okay, and then let's say if that's 100, this is 30. Well, that is about where Everest is. Just as an example, which is why you've got to wear breathing equipment and why you can't stay in the death zone for too long on Everest, because there just won't be that much oxygen there, hence not that much pressure. Okay, so what I'll show you next in the next video is a problem that causes people loads of problems, and it's how do aeroplane manufacturers cope with the fact that the pressure is so much lower the higher up in the atmosphere you go.